Welcome, everyone. Look, if you're a CEO, an IT leader, or basically any decision maker staring down the barrel of a massive software overhaul, you're in exactly the right place. Today in this explainer, we're tackling a topic that is literally reshaping how organizations operate, the role of user experience in ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, software selection. We get so lost in these giant feature lists and shiny vendor promises, right? But today, we're putting the focus squarely back on the human element.
So you might be wondering, just how much influence does user experience really have on software failure? Well, spoiler alert, it's monumental. A staggering number of these incredibly expensive, sprawling system implementations go completely off the rails, and it's usually not because the software couldn't technically do the job, but simply because the employees couldn't or just wouldn't use it. Ignoring the human element and focusing only on technical specs leads to some seriously cumbersome and expensive failures. Let's figure out how to stop that from happening to you.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at moving beyond functionality. Second, friendly system features. Third, future UX trends. Fourth, we'll outline a concrete selection process. And fifth, we'll hit the bottom line.
Let's jump right into Section 1. Beyond functionality, why UX is the ultimate change management tool.
You know, organizations routinely evaluate new systems based purely on how they align with business processes. But focusing solely on what a tool can do without thinking about how a human actually interacts with it is a massive mistake. Think about it. Complex, inflexible tools lead to high error rates, deep frustration, and eventually, high employee turnover. People will literally jump ship if their daily tools make their jobs miserable. Now contrast that with a user-centered experience. An intuitive design means rapid adoption, way fewer errors, and true empowerment. An employee who feels capable and efficient is an employee who stays.
This really shows how a good user experience flips traditional change management completely on its head. When a system is actually friendly to use, change management becomes about enabling your team, rather than desperately trying to convince them to use some clunky new tool. Picture a manufacturing company that just rolled out a new system. If the production and inventory modules are easy to navigate, a floor manager can just hop in and instantly update inventory levels or schedules. They don't need a week of intensive training. The system just makes sense. You're not fighting their resistance, you're just turning them loose to do their best work.
Moving right along to Section 2, friendly system features, essential tools for daily work.
Okay, there are 5 features that form the absolute bedrock of a user-centered system. First up, role-based dashboards. This means cutting out the noise and eliminating all the irrelevant data, so users only see exactly what they need for their specific jobs. Second is mobile accessibility. Look, in today's remote world, an employee has to be able to approve workflows from anywhere, without the mobile app feeling like some stripped-down afterthought. Third, self-service training. Things like contextual help buttons and built-in guides mean way fewer frantic calls to the IT desk. Fourth is streamlined automation. Think autofill or easy drag-and-drop actions, and when that software integrates seamlessly with your CRM tools, it eliminates massive bottlenecks. Finally, real-time analytics, which actually brings us perfectly to our next point.
The crucial takeaway here is that data is completely useless if you need a PhD just to read it. Let's look at a specific example from our source material. Imagine a local government rolling out an ERP system to monitor tax revenue and public service budgets. With a highly visual, user-friendly interface, city workers and officials can instantly check their financial health and make rapid budget adjustments. They don't need deep technical knowledge or complex coding skills. The insights are clear, they're visual, and most importantly, they are immediately actionable for anyone.
All right, Section 3, Future UX Trends, the cutting edge of ERP interfaces.
We really can't talk about the future without bringing up artificial intelligence. And no, we aren't just tossing around a trendy buzzword here. AI-powered personalization actually uses algorithms to learn an individual user's specific habits. It identifies exactly which features and data they use the most, and then it proactively adapts the interface to fit them. We are moving so far away from those rigid, static drop-down menus into these dynamic, intelligent environments that actually learn what you need before you even ask for it. It's pretty amazing.
So, let's see how this translates into the real world. Imagine a super fast-paced supply chain environment. With conversational AI and voice-activated interfaces, warehouse staff don't have to put down a heavy box, walk all the way over to a terminal, and manually type in a 12-digit serial number. They can simply use voice commands to check stock levels or locate specific items entirely hands-free. It's a technology that brilliantly solves actual, real-world physical constraints in logistics and field services.
Now, of course, all this interconnected technology requires massive security. But as cyber threats evolve, we absolutely cannot let security protocols ruin the user experience. I mean, we've all been there, right? Locked out of a system on a Monday morning because we forgot which special character our mandatory password required. The big trend right now focuses on cybersecurity usability, balancing incredibly robust safety with seamless convenience. Features like single sign-on and biometric logins make sure that while the front door is locked incredibly tight against hackers, your legitimate employees can just walk right through, safely and quickly.
Let's head into Section 4, the selection process, a structured approach to guarantee user adoption.
If you are leading a software evaluation process, you need a strategy that absolutely ensures successful adoption by your employees. To do that, you must follow these 3 critical steps. Step 1, conduct extensive user testing. Step 2, leverage independent ERP consultants. And Step 3, rigorously evaluate the system's scalability and flexibility. Skipping any of these stages leaves you incredibly vulnerable to buying a system that looks amazing on paper, but fails completely on the office floor. Let's break these down.
Step 1 is user testing, and I honestly cannot overstate how important this is. You need to observe real employees from all different departments and roles interacting with the system in realistic conditions before you ever commit to the full rollout. Do they get lost in the menus? Does a basic task suddenly take 10 clicks when it used to take 2? Getting employees involved in these testing stages highlights usability challenges super early, giving you the chance to fix them long before the expensive, high-stakes final launch.
Next up is Step 2, external consulting. This direct quote from our sources perfectly captures why this is so necessary. Partnering with independent ERP consultants can help you cut through sales pitches and evaluate systems based on unbiased assessments. Look, every vendor is going to promise you the moon, right? They'll show you these highly polished, perfect demos. That's why you absolutely need external, 100% technology-agnostic expertise to balance those glowing vendor promises with what your organization actually needs for functionality and user experience.
And Step 3 is evaluating scalability. Your company is going to grow, and your software needs to grow right alongside it. But as you add new capabilities or even entirely new modules, this system has to maintain its friendly interface. Future expansion shouldn't punish your employees by abruptly forcing them to relearn entirely new navigation layouts. A truly scalable system grows in power while still feeling wonderfully familiar to the people using it every single day.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the bottom line, ROI and long-term savings.
Executives often worry that prioritizing user experience means paying a massive premium. And yet, sometimes highly user-centric designs do require a higher upfront investment. But here's the thing. That initial cost is completely offset, and then some, by massive long-term ROI. You're going to spend significantly less on training and IT support. You drastically lower employee turnover because people aren't pulling their hair out over their tools, and you avoid the absolute nightmare of expensive custom coding just to fix a broken interface. It's just a financially sound strategy for sure.
So, a final question I want to leave you with today. Is your next enterprise system going to work for your employees or against them? The human element really is the absolute deciding factor in your next massive software investment. Focus on the user, empower your people, and I promise you the operational success will follow. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.